This is the second webinar in the Tappeo Teacher Academy series. So this webinar is part of the Tappeo project, which is Teacher Academy for Plurilingual Preschools, a path towards equal opportunities. I'm going to introduce myself again. My name is Mihaela Vatavu. I am an English teacher and trainer working for EuroEd, Iași, Romania. The second webinar of the series will deal with digital and AI tools for vocabulary development, storytelling, and reading. So I will be your guide for the next hour. But before that, I would like to tell you something. Due to the weather, we have bad weather conditions here in Iași. I had here some power interruptions, let's say. So if something like this happens, you can reconnect. I will use everything else. I have everything covered, like hotspot and full battery, but it will take a while to reconnect to the session. So don't worry. Just try and reconnect if something happens, if you see me missing in action. Thank you so much. Before we start, like in the first webinar, I would ask you to write your country, the country you come from, along with a greeting, any greeting you want in your home language, in the chat, if possible. It will be excellent to see the number of participants and everything. We can group, our teachers network. And while you are writing this, let's go further. So here is our roadmap for today. We will start with a short recap of session 1, because we have to link what we discussed previously to what we are going to discuss today. So key concepts, the most important key concepts, as you remember, multilingualism, plurilingualism, and translanguaging, together with the framework we have created, especially for Tappeo project, framework to evaluate the AI and digital tools. Then we move into the heart of the webinar, which is the digital and AI tools for vocabulary development, and also reading and storytelling, reading for older students, but storytelling mainly. After that, we will put the tools together, because it's quite impossible, as we will see, to use only one tool. We have to use them in an integrated way, in an integrated and also practical workflow. And we will close with a live reflection activity. So let's begin with a quick recap to reconnect with the key ideas from webinar 1. In session 1, we unpacked 3 concepts, as I said: multilingualism, plurilingualism, and translanguaging. And also we discussed an evaluation framework. Multilingualism is about environment. So it describes the presence of multiple languages in a place, as we said, a city, an institution, our own classroom. So here the language tend to be seen as separate, countable entities, side by side. The keynote to notice here is that this is the world out there, the linguistic landscape the child walks into. So it does not tell us anything about what is happening inside the child's mind. For us, it means only one thing. Our room contains many languages, so we have to plan for that. Let me see how, okay. Plurilingualism. Well, in this case, we zoom in. So from the society to the single child. Plurilingualism is the repertoire of languages and also not only languages, but cultural experience one person has or one person carries. In our case, the child carries into the classroom. The crucial idea is that these languages are not stored in separate boxes. They form one integrated dynamic competence. So this reframes everything because a child's home language is, as we said in the first webinar, a child's home language is never a deficit to correct or to be corrected, but it's an asset we build on. Plurilingualism is a toolkit. Translanguaging. So let's see, if plurilingualism is what a child has, translanguaging is what the child does with it. It is the natural practice, a child and especially children do that, of mixing languages with the task, the purpose of perhaps solving a problem or expressing an idea. Unfortunately, for decades, this translanguaging was treated as a confusion and, let's say, as a problem. But the research now has stated it very clearly. It is the opposite. It is quite the opposite. It's an advanced cognitive skill. And this is our bridge to technology. Good digital tools can scaffold on the home language, while gently and simultaneously we introduce the school language. So, okay. An interactive question, and I would like you to answer in the chat, if possible. Do children in your classroom mix 2 languages or even 3 languages in their, in their school, in their classroom? Please answer with yes or no. I'm going to see some of the answers. Okay, hello, Romania. Unfortunately, we missed some of the chat, but they were recorded. Yes, yes, yes. We know that even our own children, when they start watching cartoons in English, or they mix Romanian or what other home language they have with English. Yes. So you see how powerful translanguage is. It's extremely important. Okay. Why those concepts matter so much when we choose AI and digital tools? Well, it's not only about theory. Each concept turns into a concrete requirement for the technology we use. Because our room is multilingual, we need tools that handle multiple languages, not only the school language. It's very important to know that. And as we said last time, we are quite limited because we are talking about the age of our children, preschool, and not many of the apps or the tools we have disposition can help us, and because it's plurilingual, and not many tools have this kind of, let's say, asset to introduce a lot of languages. And because our child is plurilingual, we need tools that connect new words back to home language as a bridge. And because children learn through translanguaging, we need tools that let languages meet. Bilingual output, audio, images, instead of forcing them apart. So it's very difficult to see how we have to choose a tool, digital or AI. So do you remember that we talked about the CLEAR framework? The name CLEAR framework, you are going to find it, to encounter it many times on the internet for various purposes. But this CLEAR framework was specifically designed for Tappeo project. We have agreed why home languages matter, and especially at this age. Now, the practical question would be, with hundreds of AI and digital tools out there, how do we decide which ones belong in a plurilingual preschool? So that's CLEAR framework. And you remember that we gave 5 stars to each tool for 5 letters. But we will see that the one for the letter R, which means reliability and safety, if the tool scores only 2 or 3 stars, regardless of how many stars it scored for the other parts of the framework, that tool is not suitable for us because it's not safe for our children. Let's review a little bit of, because it's very important. This is how you are going to assess the AI and digital tools for preschool children working in plurilingual environments. So C stands for culturally responsive. That means children need to see themselves and also each other's reflected honestly. I mean, let's see, for a story generation tool like Gemini, we saw that shows children from many backgrounds naturally without cliches, scores very well. Then language supportive. For me, this is the heart of the framework. I mean, can the tool handle multilingual input and output? Does it genuinely support the children's home languages and not only the school language? That's extremely important. Engaging and interactive. We are working with children, so everything has to be engaging and interactive. So the question would be, does the tool promote active creation? And we will see today with at least one of our tools. I mean, young children learn by doing, making, recording themselves, not by just watching a screen for 20 minutes. So a tool, and please remember that, a tool where children create and narrate their own book scores far higher than one where they only watch a video. And we have 2 tools that do similar things, but with different outcomes. Accessible and equitable, this is mainly for us because the tool has to be accessible in terms of financial finance, let's say, and also accessible in terms of let's say, if they work on mobile or low bandwidth devices, if we can, if the child can use it at home on an old phone with their parents. So this is very important and also equitable. So they have to be used by everyone. And as I said, even if a tool has scored 5 stars on CLEA, if it scores 2 stars on R, reliability, reliable and safe, this is a big, big problem, and that tool is not useful for us. In the content age appropriate for 3 to 7-year-olds, if the content is not good, is not appropriate, or if the tool is not GDPR compliant and data private, the tool is not good. Before we start with talking about tools for vocabulary development, we have to understand the silent period and why vocabulary first. And as you know, everyone went through this stage. A lot of people who learn a new language express the fear of speaking. You know it very well at every age, but imagine little children. A child who is new to the school language understands far more than they can produce. It's not that they are not able or they are unable to learn. They are not yet ready to speak. Well, this is absolutely normal. It's healthy development, and our first job is to respect it. So the 3 principles that should guide us are the following. Comprehension before production. As we know, in the silent period, children build receptive vocabulary by hearing and understanding words long before they can pronounce them, they can say them. Second, the home language is a bridge, not an obstacle. Can you please mute yourselves or just a minute. I'm going to stop share and I will do something which, just a minute. One moment. So somebody has the microphone on and please mute yourself.
Yes,
I can't do it right now. Okay, I hope. Okay. Thank you. So I said the home language is a bridge, not an obstacle. So connecting a new word to the mother tongue lowers anxiety for the young child and also, I don't know, helps cognitive load because stress and learning cannot coexist, especially at this age. Third, repetition and multimodality. A word needs to be met, let's say 7 to 12 times in varied contexts in order to stick to the mind. We are going to do that with our AI and digital tools today. Digital tools give us that patient, let's say consistent repetition that we, as very busy teachers, cannot always provide on our own. So this is the rationale for today's order. We start with vocabulary because vocabulary is the foundation. Everything else is built on. So, Mentimeter time. Interactivity. You have to work as well. Please scan the QR code you can see on the screen and go to Mentimeter where you can answer. I'm going to show you immediately. Like this. So can you see it? I believe so. You can also answer in chat because I had to do this. Okay, so you have 5 options. The fifth is other. So if you don't find your challenge among the first 4, please write in chat. Maybe you have another challenge. So what is the biggest challenge for the plurilingual children in your classroom? The silent period, when they understand but cannot speak yet, limited vocabulary in the school language, low confidence or fear of making mistakes, homeschool language gap, or other. Sorry. Wow, limited vocabulary, low confidence. Most of them have this. Can we still have some more? Limited vocabulary. Yes. Can I have some more answers? It's like a bidding session, sorry. Okay, we'll go back to this. So let's start with our first and most important category, the vocabulary, bridging home and school. Before we choose a single app, well, let's be clear about what builds vocabulary. So it's not the tool. The tool is just a support. It is 4 things, yes, that teachers have always done. And digital tools let them do that, them more often, more vividly, interactively, and in more languages. So the 4 steps you see: select, introduce, revisit, and acknowledge, form a cycle and not a checklist. So we select, introduce, revisit, acknowledge, then we select the next set and go round again. So what do I mean by select? Word choice, how we choose the words is a pedagogical decision. It's not a random list. For instance, I'm not teaching vocabulary, the vocabulary the child will use one day. I'm teaching the words they need at snack time, in the home corner, at the morning circle, today. Introduce. First contact with a word is, at this age, of course, is always oral and always attached to something real, like an object, an action, a picture. So understanding comes long before speaking, as we know, and that's fine. Revisit. This is the repetition step. This is the repetition step. And the key teaching point, because a word needs to be met many times, in many forms before it is owned. One exposure teaches nothing. The same word in a song, then in a game, then in a story. This is how it moves into memory. Variety is not, it's not decoration. It's the mechanism. And then acknowledge. This is the plurilingual heart of the slide. And let's say, one most distinct from the monolingual practice. We do not just tolerate home language. We put it on the wall, and we're going to, actually on the wall, sometimes, next to the school word. When a child sees their language sitting proudly next to English, the message is, you are not starting from zero, and you are not an outsider here. And this offers them a lot of security. And now, the first tool. Magic School AI, one of my favorite. Although it works mainly for English purposes and for older students, Magic AI can be extremely useful in our classrooms, preschool plurilingual classrooms. Over 80 AI tools for teachers, free, with multi-language output. Magic School AI works and is very important as a scaffolding and differentiation engine, and we are going to see how it works as a scaffolder and differentiation engine. So from a single topic, it generates the same vocabulary at several levels of language demand. A one-word label, a two-word phrase, a full sentence. So one set of words reaches the silent newcomer, child who steps in our classroom the first time, with a confident speaker in the same activity, because we have different levels of understanding in the same classroom. Let's see a little bit how it works. I don't know how many of you, please, if you can write in the chat, please write if you use Magic School or if you have found Magic School. This is how it looks like. Let's see if anyone uses my Magic School. It is magic. And look at the welcoming message. Hi, Mihaela. Teach Mihaela you are magic. And they always do this, do the magic. It is magic because, as you can see, this is the what it offers: magic tools, teacher tools, feedback, collections, output history. And let's just browse a little bit through the apps it offers. I told you more than 80 apps. So some of them overlap the apps we spoke about in our last webinar. I mean, a song creator. And you can see I said 18 plus because they create new ones all the time. Magic School was built for teachers by teachers. I mean, for educators by educators all the time. So for instance, educational song generator, as we saw in Suno, podcast generator, these are new. Image generator, as we could do with a lot of other apps. Text rewriter, worksheet generator, there are so many. You need a lot of time to browse to them and to test them, believe me. They also have an academy for this. But we have a shortcut. As you can see, we have Reina, the chatbot. And meet Reina. Reina is extremely helpful. So whenever I don't know which app to choose for a certain, a certain purpose, I think of the prompt and I ask Reina because I wanted to save time. I will show you what I asked Reina to do. So this is what we are going to work today a little bit more. Kitchen vocabulary. You can't find anything else. I mean, really. I would give Magic School, 5 stars on clear framework. So I used Magic School to scaffold and to differentiate different tasks. So the first prompt, as you can see, create a vocabulary list of 8 simple concrete nouns on the topic in the kitchen. I gave the age, English as second language. It doesn't matter. You can use any language you want. And also to translate into Romanian and Spanish. You can do anything you want. Reina also has, and Magic School has a button for translation in any language you can imagine. This is just an example. I chose this prompt because 8 concrete picturable nouns are the right cognitive load for this age. And asking for translation and a fixed sentence frame in one go gives us a complete, ready-to-use set. Okay? So it's a repeated frame. This is and this is the scaffold. Predictable structure which lowers the cognitive load. So the only new element each time is the noun. So spoon, this is a spoon. Fork, so a definition, the translation into Romanian and the translation into Spanish. It could be any language we want. So this is how Reina created the list. It also gave us teaching tips, which is amazing. But then I wanted something else, starting from the same vocabulary. So prompt 2, I said, take these 8 kitchen words and write the sentence frame at 3 levels. So this is differentiation visible in seconds. 3 levels for preschoolers at different stages of the silent period. 1-word level, just the noun. 2-word levels, a cup, the table. Short sentence level, this is a cup. So this is how it built the 3 levels. I mean, the vocabulary on 3 levels. It is interesting that Reina also added, Magic School, added also best for level 1, very new learners, level 2, just to have in mind what each level is useful for or addressed to. So you see, 3 levels. We can variate all the time. Then I moved forward. There is also a quick guide to the silent period created also by Magic School, which is extremely important. I told you, made by educators for educators. It's not just a simple AI tool. And then for prompt 3, I chose this prompt because prepositions are best taught through the body and through movement, not definitions. And because we are going to feed that into the next tool, word wall, you know very well, but you know, Magic School prepares everything for the other activities I can create in word wall or maybe in other on other platforms. So this prompt scaffolds from nouns, which the children already know now, to relationships between objects. So it's another day, another week, maybe, when we reinforce this vocabulary. Because the instruction is acted out, I'm going to show you. Because the instruction is acted out, put the cup on the table. Comprehension is it's shown by doing and not by saying. So it's about total physical response we talked about in our previous webinar. The child responds with movement while they are still silent. It's ideal during the silent period precisely. We are going to use that in the next tool. Of course, again, teaching tips which are extremely useful. And I still wanted something new. For instance, create printable classroom labels. I use this prompt. So the prompt, as you see, has to be very complex in order for any AI tool, not only Magic School, to offer you the perfect output. So we chose this prompt because preschools run on environmental print and predictable routines. And so multilingual labels make the new vocabulary part of the room rather than a one-off lesson. So it's repetition in context. This is the scaffold here. Well, Magic School doesn't offer, let's say, a full package with definitions, words, and images. We have to work a little bit on that. So we can do the label like this for older students who can read simple questions in capital letters like spoon and a drawing of a spoon somewhere. It's easy. If not, we can, if you remember, for those who attended the first webinar, we could record our voice in Vocaroo or use 11 Labs text-to-speech to create an audio file, create a QR code, print it, then maybe laminate it, and place it in the room. I mean, labels in different languages. I mean, it would be great for the child to also see their own language, home language, together with the school language. So learning is distributed across the day rather than massed into one activity because they can do this throughout the school day. And of course, Reina was able to create also a 4-step visual snack time schedule with some instructions. So printing tips, again, this is what Magic School created for us. A lot of information, a lot of input. And I also wanted to create something for the families because, well, I chose this prompt because the strongest vocabulary gains come when school and home reinforce the same words. And because asking families to use the home language and not the school language respects the research and the families. So this is the home input during the silent period. The child can absorb from family with no performance pressure at all. So this would be something to send to the families. I mean, also related to the same list of vocabulary, the same vocabulary. Sorry, I have to. Okay. So this is Magic School. I highly recommend it, and I hope you have time or you take time to actually test a lot of them, especially also the planning part. I mean, lesson planning part. The next one is something I suppose everyone uses because it has been used since the pandemics, and it's still one of the easiest and most generous digital tools, but it also has now the AI part. So Wordwall is the most preschool-friendly tool of the day. We have to admit that. So you enter your word list once and instantly it becomes a matchup, a spin on the wheel as you know it. So let's see a little bit what I created with Wordwall related to, to the vocabulary I have just worked on in Magic School. So we have the vocabulary first. So children just see the picture and listen to the word. So we have the speaking cards, as you know. It can be in any language. I believe you know how it works. So this is how we edit the content. You see, we have the microphone. So here I can show you. I left this word specifically for you. So we can generate, but we can generate the word in any language we want. It's so generous, as you can see. I can use English or I can use, I don't know, Italian this time, just for one. Let's generate. Come on. It was, it's a bit, just a minute. Italian. It doesn't want to generate. Okay, I don't know why. Not even in English. Okay, we'll see. But let's see how it works. I suppose you have used it many times.
Chair, table, night.
So it's the easiest exercise. Then it's also labeling in order for the children to know where to put, to recognize the items in a kitchen. It's also audio.
Apple.
Apple. So of course
Apple.
you know very well how to use this kind of game. And the commands Reina produced for us, created for us, it's also speaking card commands. And in this way, a child can listen to the command. We have all the items prepared and they can follow the command and do what they hear.
Put the spoon and the cup. Put the bread on the table.
So everything we saw on designed by Reina, we can also convey or transfer to Wordwall or maybe some other tool. Well, Quizlet and learning apps, I decided to put them there just because they also offer something. Wordwall is even easier, but if you do the same thing in the same app, in the same tool, with the same tool, the children will feel too much comfortable. So we have to rehearse, to repeat the words with different appearance, with different layout. So this is why Quizlet and learning apps can do. I mean, there are two more vocabulary tools, but presented as a pair because let's see what Quizlet does. Also in the kitchen, I use the flashcards. So the flashcards work like this. Click the card to flip it. It's just the word. As you can see, I can also use audio. But with this vocabulary, I can create in a second, on a click, a game. For instance, the match game children like so much in start game. So you see, so plate. the matching game. This is for those who read, but we can also use the audio for each word and the image. So it's another type of game. When we speak about learning apps, this is an older tool, also quite generous, although I like WordWall better. But it's also interesting because for each pair, you see, for pair 1, I use the image of a chair, and for pair 2, the word, the pronunciation.
Chair.
So I can add more elements. As you can see, I can use different languages, but unfortunately, this app doesn't allow me to use many languages as others before. So how it works, the child clicks on audio.
Table.
Table, okay. So they have to put the label under the picture.
Chair.
Chair, okay. They can listen to it multiple times, and they can, of course,
Spoon.
Spoon. So, now, we have built the words. Now let us bring them to life through reading and storytelling. Some of the apps you are going to see, I mean, one of the apps is quite familiar to you from the first webinar. But there is another problem, storytelling and shared reading. Storytelling is the richest vocabulary context there can exist. I mean, words arrive inside meaning, emotion, and repetition. And it is the area where the teacher, so that's the most important, you are the most important here. The teacher and not the technology. The teacher is irreplaceable. So no other tool can replace the teacher. So what a teacher can do and why it's irreplaceable. Read aloud and tell stories from memory. So emphasize voice, expression, and emotion. So the way you say a story carries half of the meaning. Because a child who doesn't yet have the words still reads your face, your voice, your pauses, and that's where the comprehension begins, just by that. Invite children to retell, recreate, or continue stories. This is not a test. This is the transition from receptive to productive. But this should be done at this age, should be done gently and on child's terms. Because as I said, retelling is not testing. The child already knows the story. They just fill in what they can, in what language, whatever language they can, translanguaging again. Encourage sharing of stories and traditions from home, because this places the family as a content source, not just the audience. Because every family is carrying stories we can never buy in a book. When we invite them in, I mean, children and families in, the child's home becomes part of our classroom. And every child, not only those who come from different backgrounds, every child learns something new. Then use home languages, gestures, and props. These represent comprehension support. They make the story accessible to a non-reader, as we know, and a new language learner at once. Gestures and props can carry meaning when words cannot. So the home language anchors it, because the child can express that, can link that with the home language, and create space for multiple language versions of the same story. So we create one story, and we will see why digital tools can help us with that. One story, many languages, one community. So the same story, which is told or written in several languages, shows children that meaning is shared across languages. Okay. The first tool to produce storytelling. It's Story Wizard AI. So Story Wizard AI is a generative AI story creator. You can input characters' names, themes and settings, and while it writes its magic, it writes and illustrates a complete picture book. So a child can literally seize them as hero. So let's say we can create anything from the scrap. The bad part here is that, just a minute to see. It can create anything from the scrap. Let's see if it allows me to do that, even if, no. The third story is impossible. So this is the bad part. We have to subscribe in order to create a new story. This is an example. So they say you're allowed to 3 stories, but the first one is an example. The second one was created specifically for this webinar, again with the kitchen vocabulary, but at a higher level. Lily's Happy Kitchen. The pictures in this, or the story here, was also, let's say, Story Wizard creates that from scrap, as I said, but for the next, for other purposes, we can also use Gemini. So let's read the story. As you can see, it looks perfectly well. You can edit text on this page, okay? You can generate new images or select something new or create with AI. And we can share the story. We can read, and we can also use different languages. So when we switch languages, as you see, it's not only the audio that changes, it's also the words. But let's go for the English, and let's see how it works.
Once upon a time, in a cozy kitchen, there lived a little girl named Lily. She loved to help her mom cook. One sunny morning, Lily decided to make breakfast.
Turn the page, and of course read.
Mom, can I help? Lily.
As you can see, it's also good for the children who start learning. I mean, the older children, because each word is emphasized, so they can follow the reading so easily. The problem with Story Wizard, as I said, is the price, the fact that we have to subscribe in order to create this. But if we are in a rush and we want to produce this kind of book, we can use Story Wizard because it provides wonderful stories for children. Unfortunately, I told you the price is the main problem. So the second one, in which we have to work a little bit more, but it's the part where children contribute a lot, and they should do this because it creates that community in the classroom, is Book Creator. We talked about Book Creator in webinar 1 for listening and speaking purposes. But where Story Wizard makes books for children, Book Creator lets children become the authors. So a preschooler who cannot yet write can still draw a page, a photograph, can bring a photograph, a classroom object, and record their own voice narrating in their home language. They can do this in Book Creator, or they can do this with other tools we mentioned in webinar 1, like Vocaroo or 11 Labs. So let's see what I prepared for Book Creator. As I said, for Book Creator, in order to do that, sorry, my books, okay. I needed pictures. Of course, these pictures can be made by children. It's difficult. I didn't have, for this kind of vocabulary, I didn't have their pictures, their drawings, but you can ask them to do, or you can have sketches and they can color them if they're too young. It doesn't matter, or they can bring photos from home. But I resorted to my old, beautiful, wonderful friend, and you know our friend, who is Gemini. I asked him to produce something to help me create an 8-page story for a book creator project aimed at plurilingual, as I said, topic in the kitchen. Vocabulary requirements, and there are a lot. So you see, again, the prompt has to be extremely complex in when we use an AI tool. So my beautiful friend Gemini described everything, page 1, page 2. So if we don't want to waste too much time, we can get help from Gemini. So it also generated the pictures as much as we can see, but we are going to see them in the book. So that's the first one for the cover. I asked him to create an image for the cover with a kitchen. Then 2 pages. So the first one, when they introduce the first 2 words, a chair and a table. I see a big table, I see a small chair. Of course, I can use, immediately after we introduce the text, we also have the audio generated by automatically by Book Creator.
I see a big table. I see a small chair.
But I don't like it. So I resorted to someone else, another old friend from webinar 1, 11 Labs, with its text-to-speech feature. So I introduced the same words, the same texts. I chose the voice and the speed, stability, and everything. And I asked 11 Labs to create speech. So if we don't like that robot-like voice, we can use this.
I see a big table. I see a small chair. Look at the big table. Here is a yellow cup. Here.
I believe you love it, you like it better, because it's amazing. And all the vocabulary is gradually introduced. So you see, the cup, the spoon, and we goes into the cup. We pour water into the cup, then we pour milk into the cup. Fresh milk, I want fresh milk. So all sorts of vocabulary used in different contexts, and also images and audio. And it can be created by children with their pictures, with their voices, if possible. So in this way, they create a book they will be very proud of, without writing a word, because you can do this, and they can work only on the editing. So 11 Labs, we talked last time a lot, but I mentioned it here because it was extremely important for Book Creator. Using, let's say, AI tools in an integrated way, because let's see, we cannot use those tools separately. It's impossible. So we use them integratedly. As you saw today, we started from the generated vocabulary in Magic School, and we used that vocabulary on different levels, scaffolding on them, in context, with images, with books, all together. So what we can do? So the world comes alive. Magic School generates 6 target words, as I said. Word World turns into match-up games, so any games you want, or you can use Quizlet. Then Story Wizard AI, if you want something very fast without your creation or children creation, you can use Story Wizard. And steps 4 and 5, 11 Labs generates an audio recording, as I said, and you can put everything in a book creator where the child draw everything and contributes to a book. It seems so easy, and all these apps help you do this in a very nice way. And you'll discover, and the moment you are going to build, to create a book in Book Creator using all these tools, you will see how happy the children are. So maybe another workflow for book creators: story text generate in Gemini, then translate it in home languages with anything you want, Magic School AI or Gemini. Images, you can generate images anywhere in Canva if you are more accustomed to or more familiar with Canva or Gemini. Then you can also search in Book Creator and upload it. You can do anything. We talked last time about Book Creator and everything it offers. We can paste a translated text in 11 Labs and then export everything as an MP3 and upload in Book Creator. And then the final thing, as an editor, we upload images and MP3 files and add school language text labels if we want. And because time is quite out, we have a Padlet, and I would love to hear from you there. So please take your phone and scan the QR code. And let's go to the Padlet page. So one tool, maybe, I don't know, it would be great to see one tool from today you will try this week. And if you also have questions, now I'm going to unmute you, maybe. See, just a minute. No, I believe you. I haven't unmuted you. So if you also have a question, please, this is the time, but I would love to see some messages. Just one tool. It's the name of the tool. So let's repeat, as we said. We had Magic School. We had Word Wall, everybody uses. I don't think it's okay. We have Quizlet. We have learning apps. Also Gemini, if you want, for everything we do. Story Wizard and Book Creator, and of course 11 Labs. So, okay. Okay, can I see? Yes, of course. Sorry, immediately. The QR code. Okay, so I'm going to let you see the QR code again. Can you write in the Padlet, please? It would be better because in this way we keep the Padlet and it will help us a lot when we have Book Creator. Yes, I love Book Creator, especially when we can introduce our children's creations, and GPT, it's perfectly safe for them if we don't use their photos or anything very personal. So Book Creator Magic School. So can you please put that in the Padlet? It would be extremely useful. The Padlet will last after we finish the session. We already, but with my interruption with the power, I hope it worked well. I'm looking on a very small screen for me. So so I would say thank you so much for being here and for the work you do, empowering our global classrooms. You can ask anything. You can, you see my contact data. You can ask me any questions if you have, or you can also do this in chat because the chat is preserved.